Hey guys, real quick before we get into all the goodness, I just want to hang a lantern on the fact that the image in the thumbnail on this video, the Mickey, that was an AI generated image. And before you go, whoa, 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 Goth, what the hell are you doing, my guy? It's actually comes from a really interesting place, and I found this after the fact when I was just kind of looking up some images maybe that I could reference or whatever to do this little thumbnail wouldn't just be typographic. And I found this little blog post. Apparently somebody decided to weaponize Midjourney in the fight against AI art. It's super interesting. An artist named Eric Bordage. This is back in December of 2022. He just started ripping out copyright infringing images in the hopes that Disney would take notice of this and join the fight. Now, I think sadly we can kind of imagine how that went. They didn't exactly join the fight, they just are essentially co opting it for their own nefarious purposes. But shout out to Eric Bordages. If I'm screwing that up, I apologize. But I applaud your efforts. It's a really good idea. It's just a really tough nut to crack, obviously. But that's where this image came from. It's a Midjourney image, but I'm crediting Eric for making it because the intention behind this image being generated is so in line with something positive that I thought it was worth noting. Now, here we go. We get right into it. So, I've got two things for you today. I have some bad news, but I also have some very good news. So we're all aware that the Screen Actors Guild and the writers and the actors and basically now the Animation Guild, they are all striking. They have had it up to here with the corporate greed. And like many other people in many countries, America specifically, you're absolutely appalled and absolutely horrified by the fact that you can't even make a living and keep up with the cost of living with whatever your job is in many, many cases. In the midst of all this SAG, all this writers striking, which, by the way, if you couldn't tell, I am fully in solidarity with all labor and all creatives everywhere, just in case you've never tuned into the channel before. You would think that maybe after all of this, even after the Los Angeles City Council have unanimously voted to try to get these major studios to come to the table and negotiate in good faith, you would think maybe they would do something about that. But nope, 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 nope. What they basically decided to do was instead make postings for some very high paying AI jobs, right? Let's not give the actors and the writers a living wage. No, 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 no. Let's just start our own AI divisions. This is what's happening. And just a real quick commentary on that. Look, at a certain level, when you have a certain amount of money or reach a certain tier in the corporate ladder, there have been studies that show you actually, on a chemical level, lose the ability to experience empathy. Real quick, basically what they did was they took a normal person, a human, put them in a room, put some electrodoodlers on their old brain there so they can track what parts of the brain are lighting up and all that sciencey goodness. And then they take some like corporate CEOs, probably not a billionaire, because billionaire would never ever agree to sit in a room for anything. Why would I sit in a room when I could just be on my mega yacht commanding my fleet of support ships to just buzz around for no reason? Because that sounds fun. They put all the little doodlers on their head and they show them like a picture of a baby. Maybe it's a picture of the baby with the vulture, famous photograph. And they track what parts of their brain light up. In a normal person, there's a part of the brain that experiences empathy, right? And that part of the brain lights up. You show them a baby, you show them an animal being tortured, whatever horrific thing that should normally elicit a response, a human response, an animal, basic baseline animal response. And then they do it to the high-tiered CEO, and that part of the brain just nothing. Nothing. So if you're wondering why these people make the decisions that they make, well, a big part of it is that they just simply cannot experience empathy, right? You might as well be speaking, alien space gobbledygook to them. They're just like, huh? Like, that's just a bunch of noise. It's money. We're looking at this post here on Netflix. Technical director artificial intelligence, machine learning, R&D tech lab. Basically, Netflix has its own game studio. You've seen the games on there. Not that I've seen it recently. I canceled my subscription. I know the WGA is not telling people to cancel their subscriptions, but honestly, I turn that shit on and I just feel disgusting. So when you do cancel your subscription, you can just go down to the bottom and it says, why are you canceling? And just let them know. Treat your workers fairly. Why does your CEO make, 100 billion, million, gajillion, however many millions of dollars, and then the people down the ladder who make the shows basically are on food stamps? Whatever you want. You could just write I stand with the WGA, whatever it is. But I did that, and I know they're not saying to do it, but fuck it, do it. So basically, they want to make an AI ML model for their video game studio, as we know, and this is a rabbit hole. I'm not going to go too deep. We know some online gaming platforms like Valve, they have banned AI generated content because they simply just don't know if it's ethical or potential legal quagmires that they can get themselves into. So Netflix is posting this job. And then one of the other big studios involved in the big strike is also Disney. And they have this job posting, R&D Imagineer, Principal, General Artificial Intelligence. They are obviously going to try to create their own models, their own sort of machine learning models. Who knows what they're going to do? I'm sure whoever works there. It's, as a side note, they're offering very generous salaries. From what I've seen, we're talking in the area of $900,000. Yeah. Sorry, if anyone wanted to switch sides and go learn PyTorch or whatever and go make $1 million a year, yeah, this makes it tough to kind of stand on your ethics. I get it, and I think they're kind of banking on that. But Disney's doing the same exact thing, and this is what we're working with. So instead of kind of saying, okay, you know what, we're getting a lot of really bad PR and the empathy part of our brains are lighting up and they're going, no, this is bad. We should be humans and just not exploit humanity, to make recently just utterly garbage content. But this isn't about the current state of Marvel or Disney movies or what they did to Star Wars. I also just want to take 5 seconds and just kind of highlight the apparent hypocrisy or the kind of the disconnect that I get from, you have someone like Darth Kathleen Kennedy up making the Star Wars movies, and it's all about inclusiveness and everyone together holding hands of all races, creeds, and colors, holding hand under a rainbow, which generally I was like, I like the sound of that. It's all about like this empathy and equality, but then at the same time they go ahead and do this. Like there's a seriously cognitive dissonance that happens there. Like either you want to be for some sort of purpose of equality and inclusion, or you're not. Like pick a fucking lane. Anyway, so they're doing this, and yeah, I mean that's kind of what's happening. So these, as far as I know, these were posted pretty recently. And another side note, you have a company like Adobe who just, doesn't want to pay their Adobe stock contributors for basically feeding all the goo into their Firefly model. Don't want to pay them at all. Didn't tell any of them about it, no matter what they say. They're completely full of it. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, Adobe stock contributors probably have a pretty open and shut class action lawsuit case against Adobe. But while Adobe can't afford to pay their contributors who basically provided all the goo for their model, they're very happy to create a position and hire Chris Castanova to the title of a job called Digital Evangelist. Yes, Digital Evangelist. And if you ever needed any evidence that AI is essentially a cult, well, you got it right there. There is another interesting article, and I'll just basically sum up for you in a couple cents, and it says, some Adobe employees have said that they're actually concerned that the new generative models might actually cannibalize or, destroy their current user base. That is some galaxy brain thinking there. I mean, if that's not the most obvious thing ever, I don't know what is. You need to take one look at Adobe, what their business model, who pays for their suite of software, and then look at what their new tools do. And if you can't see that immediately what they're doing is alienating one user base in the hopes of replacing it with another user base that is not accustomed to paying for things. AI people, they don't like to pay for things. The entire culture of generative AI is based around appropriating other people's stuff. So the fact that some of the employees basically said, yeah, we think you might alienate or essentially destroy your user base's ability to make a living, it could negatively affect our business model. It seems like some pretty obvious shit, and we're going to obviously keep an eye on that. And here is the good news, my friends. Now, this is where the fight has been growing. Look, at this point, I think we have what? There's well over 100 lawsuits going on. If you know, there are major lawsuits, there are class action lawsuits, there are private lawsuits, there are lawsuits against AI products that discriminate people on applications and have incredible bias. There is so many lawsuits going on that one can only hope that they just get buried in the Byzantine quagmire of their own malfeasance and neglect and appropriation, to the point where people just look at this and go, this shit just ain't worth it anymore. Dear Lord. So, welcome to the fight. Several major U.S. and international publishers. So they are all joining forces as a part of an effort to sue major artificial intelligence companies for using their content to train their generative AI models and seek new rules that govern such actions. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And if you really want to talk about some sort of like unprecedented uniting, look what we have here. We have the New York Times, right? Arguably on the left. Then you have News Corp. That is Fox News. And all of the News Corp is a huge umbrella of media. So News Corp and the New York Times, both, in addition to other people, are all suing or in the process of forming a coalition. I mean, I'm not sure else how to describe this. I mean, in my mind, it's like the Jedi and the Sith have thrown all differences aside, and we're going to have tea. And they sit down and they go, wow, I absolutely love your red lightsaber. Well, I absolutely love your blue lightsaber. It's fantastic. That mask, the robes. Oh, you made them yourself? Oh, delightful.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. I mean, that's essentially what is happening here. It's fucking mind-blowing, and I am here for it. So, look. The Sith and the Jedi are getting together, and they are going after, well, a new, more menacing threat. Maybe they all hate the Emperor because he's just kind of a wrinkly-faced dickhead, or whatever it is. He's a proxy for generative AI, for open AI, who, as a side note, fun little side nugget here, I'm trying to wrap this up one really quick because I did want to do something else today. I wanted to draw for you guys. I did want to do a tutorial on making art. Remember making art? Anyway, these people have gotten together and they're just not having it. So OpenAI also in front of the Federal Trade Commission. The Federal Trade Commission is saying, hey, we need you to open your data set. So if they are forced to actually open their data set, that creates an absolute Pandora's box. There's going to be, cans open, worms all over the place, people going, what the hell is going on? And I am 100% here for it, my friends. So Sith and Jedi joining together against a much bigger, more psychotic evil, and that is generative AI, which in my mind is basically the extension of NFTs. It is a hustle. If you look at Sam Altman, if you look at Emad Mostaque, both of those guys, before they started their transcendent and humanity evolving generative AI companies, they both had the shitcoins. Emad had a religious-based shitcoin, which, if you ask me, people who prey on the religious beliefs of people for their own monetary gain, there's a special place in hell for those type of people. That is some low-hanging fruit, and you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. You're a fucking sociopath. Sam Altman, well, he tried to do a crap coin back in the day, and he's actually doing it again right now with WorldCoin. Look, it's a grift. If there wasn't generative AI, these people would be on some completely other grift. Like, are they smart? Sure, they're smart. But so was, Hannibal Lecter. Doesn't mean I want him running a Fortune 500 company or being in Congress. Look, sociopaths rise to the top. This is the fucked up world that we live in. That's a conversation for another day. We're not going to have it right now. But take joy in the fact that, look, this is crazy that these huge media companies are forming a coalition to go after generative AI. This fight started with artists. We were alone, getting completely crapped on from every direction. If I had $1 for every time somebody told me, hey, stop crying, adapt or die, whatever bullshit that they said, well, I'd have a couple $100. Now everybody is getting on board. The AI shills, simps are getting quieter and quieter. I noticed the Defending AI Art Reddit. Well, there's not that many people on there. And oddly, I actually read a few reasonable comments on there where it used to just be like frickin' Luddites. Puh. Things are changing. It's kind of hard to ignore reality when it keeps slapping you in the face. No, it's fine. Everything's fine. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know what I mean? So anyway, good news and bad news. So psychos are doubling down, trying to make content for nothing, but massive publishers, people who have the real ability to sway public opinion, people who actually reach the old people, yeah, they are actually coming together. And wow, it's like damn, that really hurt. That's like a pretty big deal. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Good luck in the wars to come. See you soon.